Well, do you know what? For my last show, and I have known for a while that my last show was coming up, it was a joy to learn that you were going to be a guest on it. So thank you for coming on the show. The reason...
Thank you for having me.
We're delighted to have you. But the reason we want to talk to you tonight is this brilliant new podcast that you're involved in, Acting for Others Presents. And this is all a part of the Acting for Others organisation, who are there to help people in the theatre industry who, well, are heading into times of need or are going through a difficult time. So why is it so important that we have a podcast like this and an organisation like this?
Well, it's a charity, and you know how hard it is to make a living in the theatre. I mean, you and I are doing all right now, but I remember when I wasn't earning anything. And this is not just for actors and actresses, it's for people backstage, directors, lighting people, dressers. Everybody gets thought about in this charity. So when they asked me if I do it, and if I do it with Derek Jacobi, who's an old friend, I was absolutely thrilled. And it's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
It's a great chat. It's a great interview. We mentioned some of your on-screen credits there in your intro, but your actual first brush with stardom had nothing to do with being on screen. It was actually when you represented your college on University Challenge, and that appearance kind of went down in history, didn't it?
Well, I've been told to be very careful about my language because I don't want to offend the dear Irish public, whom I love so much. But it was the first time that the F word, I think you know, was used on television, and it was because I got an answer wrong. And anybody would say F if they got an answer wrong. You would too.
Yeah, that's a normal reaction.
Well, thank you for kindly thinking of the little ears that might be around the TV right now. But yeah, I tell you, that's not. But it's not a bad accolade.
That's fair, yeah.
BAFTA's in the first F word.
Up there with the BAFTA, I think, Miriam, for sure.
As you say, go on.
I think you have to be aware that sometimes people let things slip out. And I'm afraid I'm somebody who lets things slip out a bit.
OK, and that's why we love you so much. It really is. As you said on the podcast, you have managed to carve out a Miriam-shaped hole in the industry in which you're just, well, you're just your true self. But being your chatty true self, has it ever got you into trouble?
Oh, on countless occasions, it's got me into trouble. I'm thinking of a time when, well, I met the Queen. I have mentioned this story on your great compatriot Graham Norton show, but I met the Queen and she said to me, "And what do you do?" And like an idiot, instead of saying, "I'm an actress, Your Majesty," I said, "I'm the best reader of stories in the whole world." And I kept interrupting her when she was speaking. And finally, she turned to me and said, "Be quiet." And I was up to that.
I mean, who could blame you when you're getting that kind of an order from the Queen?
But she is the best storyteller in the world.
You are, in fairness.
A statement of fact.
I've got some very good anecdotes, but I couldn't possibly tell them to a young audience. This is adult material. I think that's what it's called, adult material. Remember, I started my radio career doing what I would call rather explicit tapes for people to take home and pleasure themselves with. And that set me on a path to sin and shame, I'm afraid, which I haven't recovered from.
Oh,
That's a career trajectory if I ever heard one, to be honest.
Oh, God, it's just brilliant. Well, look, you started your career, but I was really surprised to hear on the podcast that you're more nervous now, before you go on stage, than you were right at the beginning of your career. Why is that, Miriam?
Well, I think it's because when you get a certain reputation and you know people expect something of you and you don't want to disappoint them, I'm frightened of not being good enough, of people thinking, oh, you know, she's hopeless. I was thinking she was going to be good and she's hopeless. So that's what makes me nervous. And sometimes I'm actually sick, vomiting with a bucket before I go on. Mind you, tonight I haven't been. I've managed to control my nerves for you, Martin.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Miriam. And bearing in mind that, you know, our chef tonight is making a tray bake. Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah. We appreciate it, Miriam. We appreciate it. Sadly, we recently lost your Harry Potter co-star, Robbie Coltrane, recently. And he once said on the legacy of the movies of Harry Potter, the legacy of the movies is that my children's generation will show them to their children. How do you feel about the fact that to this generation, and I suppose for generations to come, you will always be Professor Sprout, just like he will always be Hagrid?
Well, I'm delighted. I'm not interested in Harry Potter. It happened for me a long time ago. It's a children's story and it's a jolly good one. But if it brings me in cash, which it does every so often, and people know who I am, I'm not going to be proud about it. I'm just very lucky to be remembered. And so thank you, Harry Potter, for that, and for all the fun I had and the lovely people I met. It was a great experience. I don't think it's an important lot of films because I'm a bit of an intellectual snob and I don't give a stuff about Harry Potter to read it myself, and I never watched the movie. But I'm very grateful to it.
The message for all actors is make sure you get a repeat fee written into the contract.
Yes.
Make that money.
And make that money.
Make
exactly.
that money.
Look, it's an absolute joy to have you on the show this evening. We can't let you go without talking about UK politics, because you are quite vocal about a lot of things, and politics being one of them. But what do you make, bearing in mind all the madness that has gone on in the UK over the last while, what do you make of Matt Hancock signing up to go into the jungle and I'm a Celebrity?
What a vile personality. What an appalling, adulterous creep. Why we have him on our televisions, I don't know. I don't know why he was thought a proper person to entertain. He's a vile human being. He nearly destroyed our National Health Service. He sent loads of people with COVID, old ladies, back into their care homes. I think he's a detestable, vile, puny individual. How anybody can let him be their lover, I don't know. I think he's vile. And I think the same of most of that government. I like Lynn Ruan, who's your senator.
Yes.
And I did a programme with her, which will be out in April, I think. Now, she could be leading our country. I'd be delighted with that.
But the other lovely thing about Lynn and you being together is that she gave you some Dublinese as well. Some little phrases for you to master.
I've forgotten it all because I need her to teach me. I need her by my side in the coach. We had a sort of charabanc. I have to have a charabanc so I can go to the toilet easily. You know, because when you get you can't hold on to it, and I like to be close to a toilet. But she was fabulous as a teacher, and I'm dying to get back to Ireland. That's the place I really want to be. Plus the fact that you're in the EU and we're stuck out because of that stupid Brexit rule. I mean, that's all the Tories, you know. They're a shower, they are. A shower of the thing that comes out of your rear end. That's what they are.
This, by the way, is Miriam censored. Yeah, and she's censoring herself. So thank you for that.
Which really we appreciate, and the little ears appreciate
really
too.
But your Story Bud is coming on, so I believe, after your time with Lynn.
What's coming on?
Your Dublinese Story Bud. Have you learned that yet?
Well, I hope so. Yeah. I hope so.
Okay.
And I need some more lessons, because as soon as I hear, you know, that Irish, I love it. Do you understand? I love it. I can't do Dublin. I have to have Len with me right from the side doing it. But when I hear you, oh, my blood is pulsing in my veins, so it is. It is.
That's pretty good. I've heard worse.
I'm very impressed with that Irish accent.
I've heard worse.
Miriam, it's a joy to chat to you. It really is. You can listen to the latest episode of Acting for Others Presents. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. But for this, my last 6 o'clock show, it has been an absolute joy to chat to you. Miriam Margolyes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Miriam. Oh, my God. Obsessed with her. Sorry.
I could talk to her for the hour.
Yeah, truly.